and you should have a nice bent leg. The reason for that is, if you ever in a panic situation, you need to get in the brakes, you're on the balls of your feet, you're not on your tippy toes. And if you ever get brake pedal fade, you have all the way to the floor. So get a nice bent leg. For your distance as far as the seat back goes, put your shoulders at the back of the seat, the break of your wrist at 12 o'clock on the steering wheel, okay? Because that should, and without pulling your shoulders from the seat, remember that the steering wheel will move. So you don't have to be like this up on the wheel. So break your wrist without pulling your shoulders off. That way at 3 and 9, it gives you a nice bent arm. You're steering with your forearms and your biceps, not your wrists and your shoulders at 2 and 10. You should be able to keep, you leave the start into second gear, you should be able to keep your hands at 3 and 9, and you should have 180 degrees, and you'll be able to steer this whole course with just your hands at 3 and 9. All right? So everybody got that? If your break of your wrist is over here, then pull the back up or pull the steering wheel towards you. All right? A couple things out there that we have is you'll notice that we have a couple cones, different color cones for you out on the course. You notice you see some green ones. Okay? Those are, I don't know what happened on any one of those. Basically, whenever we drive, if you guys have ever watched racing, you know, they were like, yeah, I hit all my points. It's all like connecting the dots. You have your braking reference points, you have your turn-in points, you have your apex points. So we've done a few for you. You don't ever really have to get into the brakes really hard out there, because this car will slow down so fast. I would just really do a heavy brush of the brakes, depending on how deep you are in the corner. We have, on the outside of each corner, approaching to the corner, we have a green cone, and that's where you're going to start turning into the corner. All right? We also have a green cone, that's your apex cone, where you want the car to come in closest contact with the inside edge of the corner. Don't wait until you get to this cone to look for this cone. Remember, you're coming up on that cone. So as I'm about, let's say, this far away from the cone, now I know that I need to look at my apex cone. Where you look is where you're going to steer. General rule of thumb. If you don't ever want to hit anything out there, don't look at it. Because so many accidents, people hit trees and everything, and you know what, I guarantee you ask them, what were you looking at? I was looking at that tree. I was looking at what I didn't want to hit, but you steered right into it. Your hands follow your eyes. So out there, be one step ahead of the car. You're coming up on this cone, look to the apex. You'll turn to the apex. As the car is pointed at the apex, look for the exit. One after the other, all right? The faster you go, the farther you look ahead, all right? A general rule on, I always use the outside road. If you should know when you're not looking ahead, when you find that you have a sensation of speed. If you ever go, oh my God, I'm flying, you're not looking ahead. It's just like if you're on the freeway and you look like at the white line and it goes like this, you can look up ahead and count it. Count the sections. That's what you want to do. Slow everything down. Get yourself prepared. All right? We have a couple different corners out there. There's a corner that's, here's this map all the way at the top, up there, which is what we call a double apex corner. Okay? You'll come into the corner, you'll see this outside cone, which is your turn-in cone. Remember, you look at your apex, right? You steer the car to the apex. That steering that you put in that car should last you all the way to the exit. So you'll come in, you'll hit the inside of the corner, you'll come all the way out, you'll hit the inside, and you'll come all the way out. So don't ever like follow the curvature of the corner. Remember, drive those apexes. Okay. I've already talked about look ahead, apex, turn-in cone, seating position. Obviously, when we're in staging, after you pass the finish line, nice and easy, slow that car down, you know, everybody's walking around, okay? If you and someone else that you have here are both driving, I would suggest going in the car together because you basically get twice the laps. All right. So if you're the first lap you take is going to be sort of your sighting lap. You know, don't just crawl around out there. We don't have a lot of laps to give you. So take it at like 50%. And then the next one, you know, like look ahead a little bit more, and then we'll give you 2 laps each over here. And then when you go on the other side, we'll do exactly the same. They're both timed, but to get the most out of the time lap, do 50, 60% over there, and then go for it. Obviously, I don't want you hitting cones and all that kind of stuff, but have some fun and see what the limitations of this car are. After you're done with your 2 laps over there, they'll give you a hole punch. And then you can go one more time, get back in line, and then you can do another time lap. Anybody have any questions? What gear do we stay in out there?
Second.
Okay. Where do we put our foot once we've shifted? Over on the stationary pedal, because that stabilizes you in the vehicle. Don't keep your foot on that clutch. You probably smelt that car that somebody did that to. It was smoking a little bit. We don't like that smell. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, if you guys want to go ahead and we'll have you stand out there and line up on those green cones for me.